In this video, we're going to talk about thrifting and online arbitrage. First, we're going to talk about the best parts of thrifting and online arbitrage. Then we're going to talk about the worst parts of thrifting and online arbitrage. And then we're going to talk about which one is actually better. So the best parts about thrifting is that the ROI is absolutely massive. Your cost of goods when you purchase an item to resell it on Amazon is very, very low. And in addition to this, you don't have tons of software costs. You don't have massive overhead costs in general when doing thrifting. And so that makes your business a little bit easier to manage. And so with the combination of you having very low inventory costs and also having low overhead costs, someone who's not good at bookkeeping can literally just not bookkeep. And maybe you're not going to know how much money you made, but you're probably going to be making some kind of money. And so this is a really good business model for beginners who are doing reselling. And so the very best parts about online arbitrage is that the profit potential is absolutely massive. Instead of going thrift store to thrift store or estate sale to yard sale to garage sale, you sit at home on your laptop and you're able to purchase 10, 20, 30, 100 units of something. And even though your ROI is going to be smaller, potentially you purchase $350 just with a couple clicks instead of going all day around to different thrift stores in order to make that same amount of money. In addition to this, depending on the way that you do it, online arbitrage can either be semi-remote or fully remote. There are literally people doing online arbitrage from Costa Rica, from Peru, from Thailand, and selling on the United States marketplace. If you work with a prep center, you can be completely remote, or if you do online arbitrage and send the items to your house, you don't have to drive around town in order to find your inventory. You just have it sent straight to your house. And because of this, probably the best part of online arbitrage is that online arbitrage uses money to make money instead of time to make money. You basically have to acquire a skill and have money, and then you use your skill and the money together to make you more money, instead of using your time to make money, kind of like in the thrift store online model of reselling. So here is the worst parts of thrifting. I would say the very worst part of thrifting is that finding a massive amount of inventory is almost impossible. When you're thrifting, the main barrier to actually getting to that next level is the amount of inventory that you're finding. And usually you're able to find inventory based on the amount of time that you spend out on the field looking for stuff. And so, of course, there are better sellers than others who are able to find more inventory, but even those really good thrifters can only find so much profitable inventory. And I often don't hear of thrifters making much more than $5,000 a month. Most people that I know who thrift usually are somewhere in the $1,000 to $5,000 profit a month range, which is great, but that isn't necessarily a scaled, extremely high profit business. So like we were talking before, thrifting is a spend your time and a little bit of money operation to make more money. And so it's not use your money to make more money. People talk about how they purchase something for $2 and were able to resell it for $50, but they don't talk about the 3 hours and 45 minutes that they spent in order to even find that item. So know that $48 profit was not free. You spent 3 hours to find it. And so the worst part of thrifting, in my opinion, is the amount of time that you have to use in order to ROI that money. And another thing that I don't like about thrifting the most is that some of the stuff that you get is gonna be lower quality. And so you sometimes have to be pretty careful when selling the items, especially if you're selling on Amazon, to be sure that they are good quality, good condition, and that your customers are gonna be happy with the items that you're sending in. So now, the absolute worst parts of online arbitrage. Online arbitrage has some major downsides. The very major downsides to online arbitrage are that your inventory is going to cost a ton of money. Like literally, if you are full-time doing online arbitrage, you probably have $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 invested into profitable inventory. And that is a lot of money to have in your business to be making your profit per month. On top of this, your overhead costs are often pretty high. A lot of these people have virtual assistants. They are paying for prep centers. They have softwares. they have items that get lost, and so their overhead cost is often thousands of dollars a month. Whereas with thrifting, it's kind of a walk in the park. You have your eBay store subscription, and if you're doing Amazon, you're $40 a month, and then maybe you pay for Inventory Lab, and you have like a couple $1,000s in like thrift store finds. But online arbitrage, you have massive overhead and massive inventory cost. And then on top of that, online arbitrage does have a pretty big learning curve. If you've never sold before, learning online arbitrage from scratch without any experience sometimes is going to be extremely difficult. And the people who have sold in some capacity before are oftentimes the ones who are going to actually be able to get over that learning curve and make the massive profits and massive hourly and money for money type of money with online arbitrage. So now that I showed the negative sides of both of those business models and the positive sides of those business models, which one is actually better? I really think it comes down to this. If you're completely new to reselling or have very little experience or don't feel like you're actually going to put in tons and tons of effort, I would probably say that thrifting is a better model for you. Thrifting, the learning curve is much smaller. There's much less to manage. You don't need bookkeeping skills. You can kind of just go to a thrift store and type in eBay comps and Amazon searches, and you can find profitable stuff. And you can make 7 mistakes, but your ROI is so good that just 2 of them need to be profitable, and you're still very profitable. Whereas with online arbitrage, you make 1 mistake and you're down $300, and that's going to be a problem if you're not going to take the time to learn how to do online arbitrage correctly. And so I would say if you have sold in some major capacity online and you really enjoy it, you really put your heart and soul into it, and you really love it, then online arbitrage is a great opportunity. Online arbitrage on paper is much better money than thrifting, because you're able to just go on your laptop, purchase the items, oftentimes reorder these items several times in the future, and you can build up a catalog of profitable items that you can order over and over again and have other ideas of what to source over and over again. If you're good at online arbitrage, there is usually a I don't have enough money to spend on profitable inventory problem instead of I have not enough items to buy. There's plenty of items to buy, and as you get good at online arbitrage, you really see that there's tons and tons of deals out there. Also, the ability to have your money work for you instead of your time work for you is a really big deal. A lot of people who do online arbitrage are able to do other complete different things on top of their online arbitrage business. Like for me, for example, I usually do online arbitrage anywhere between 10 and 25 hours a week. And then I do social media and other things on the side of my Amazon online arbitrage business. Being able to condense all of that into a smaller amount per week and still make really good money is a massive deal. And so in my opinion, I think online arbitrage is better, but I still thrift on the side as well, because it's really fun getting those massive ROI items and not having the stress of having more expensive inventory that I have to make sure that I make no mistakes with. So if this video was helpful, then feel free to help me out by subscribing and sharing this video with someone who would enjoy it. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and take care.